going on out at that course. And obviously with the elevated field, or the elevated purses, I should say, this is actually going to feel like the combination of a major championship and a kegger. And I am here for it.
I do love that. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. And with how good the field was, this was a tough one to get a read on. I mean, there's so many good options. There's so many guys that you can make a case for. This was not an easy one to handicap us. This is a tough one for me.
No, this is also one where you can easily get overexposed by playing a whole bunch of guys, because you can't resist the numbers that we're getting on some of these dudes. The exact opposite of Pebble Beach, where there was not very many guys that, he really felt. Shout out to Justin Rose, though, getting back in the winner's circle. It had been a while for him. Hey, just before we get to the picks, I have to ask you, did you have LeBron last night to set the record and go over and get it done? I know you're a big LeBron guy.
I'm a big LeBron guy. I'll just be honest with you, I wasn't on it. I stayed away. I didn't want to be disappointed one way or the other. I just sat down and watched that game last night. And I mean, the dude drops 36 in 3 quarters. I mean, it was absolutely remarkable last night. I know they had an exclusive locked in over at Coolbet as well. You could have got them. We'll get a bunch of exclusives here. I'm glad we're doing Lock Shop. I can get away from Twitter, because the people criticizing people for having their phones out during it, live in the moment. I'm like, we take our phones out for fucking everything nowadays. People take their phones out to be like, oh, look at this salad I had for lunch. You pay $5,000 to go watch LeBron James set a record. I'm not going to critique you. It's not like you're you have your phone out, you're watching the event. I just don't understand why people are so critical over people having their phones out, buddy. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Gazzola was hot this morning.
Tommy was saying the stupid, dumb people. I was like, what are you talking about? Why does this matter so much?
Well, you know what? That would have been the takeaway from your show this morning if Rashad didn't call your entire audience a bunch of losers. So,
it was a tough fourth hour of the show today. Tommy called everybody stupid. Rashad called everybody a bunch of losers, and everybody was just bitter that LeBron's now the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. So it was, it was fun to watch. I did cry a little bit. I cried a little bit. When Kareem handed the ball off to Bron, I'm just like, kid from Akron. This is great. Yeah.
Well, it's nice honest. That you've been with him all the day. I mean, listen, the goodwill that he wasted with the public, with probably the worst PR move in sports history with the decision, I don't think he's ever really totally regained. I mean, everything that he's done and what he's done in his home community. I mean, there's so many great things about LeBron. I truly believe that the amount of LeBron haters all goes back to that, because it was amazing. It was the most self-absorbed, and it showed such a lack of awareness for other people that, the way he could do it so publicly, turn his back on his hometown, all that. They will be writing books about this. I guarantee in PR classes they will speak to that. And it's crazy, because that has, even going back to Cleveland afterwards, I'm not sure that he ever really got over it. Hopefully people in Cleveland did, because obviously he came back and got it done. But it's too bad, because the guy is an absolutely transcendent athlete. And I'm not really going to dive into the MJ versus LeBron. We'll save that for First Take in the summer when there's not much going on. As I tweeted last night, I'm just lucky to have been there for the whole ride and got a chance to see both of them. So, it was interesting, but I will give a shout out to my guy, Greg. He was all over me in the DMs this week. Plus 200 at Coolbet. He breaks the record tonight. I kind of thought that he might wait for the Bucks game. And listen, I think there's probably a lot of people that are kicking themselves for spending big money on tickets to Thursday's game, and the record already got broken.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
But anyways, it was a pretty cool scene last night for sure. Although maybe the most telling part of the entire night about how sad the state of the Lakers is right now is that you have this incredible victory, you have this incredible milestone, and by the way, they lost at home to the OKC Thunder on the night that LeBron went for 36. What a mess that team is.
Giving up 133 points. OKC shot the lights out in the first half, but then defend the 3-point line better. Like, I was very frustrated with the defense. And, you know, it's the double standard that LeBron has been held to is crazy, because you're right. I mean, a lot of people, and I don't want to spend too much on this. We'll get to the waste management picks here in a second. But a lot of people, you know, point back to, Dusty, the decision. I mean, Kobe raped a chick and people moved on. You know what I mean? Like, so LeBron did a press conference in which it was a one-on-one interview. He raised over $1 million for a kid's charity while doing it. Kobe sexually assaults somebody and people go, wow, kind of like LeBron. He went on TV and said where he was going to go. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, I just don't get it. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
It's called selective outrage, my friend. And knows we've got a lot of outrage in 2023. Hopefully we can get some outrageous picks. Nice daily hit yesterday with the Oilers over 4.
Yeah, that was good.
I'm actually getting my mojo back a little bit on the ice. I had a nice 2-gamer last night. Oilers in reg, parlayed with the Islanders. And I'm going to take a swing at these 2 games as well later on tonight. But first up, main event, the Waste Management Phoenix Open. It's always big, but it's even bigger when you've got the Super Bowl there as well. I was lucky enough to be at the Saturday event during the last Super Bowl in Glendale. Had the day off that day before the big game and went out, and it was unbelievable, unlike anything that I've seen before. The amount of drunk college kids there at 11 in the morning was something that I was totally not prepared for, but it was pretty fun. And as I say, we've got a major-like field, a major-like purse, and I think it's going to feel like a major with the exception of all the gong shows surrounding everything happening between the ropes.
Do we eventually see more events like this? Or is this one just so unique that they're like, nobody else wants to touch it? You know what I mean?
Well, I think we will see a little bit more like that. I mean, every event tries to, stand out. And listen, golf is pretty old and stuffy overall. So for them to move forward, for them to grow the game, as we like to hear, certainly LIV is trying to do that. We should do an entirely different show on the upcoming LIV season at some point. How about Bubba Watson's new team, the Range Goats? I can't stop paying attention to it, but it is just ridiculous in so many ways. That being said, though, regardless of what's happening around the course right now, we have one of the best fields I can ever remember for any tournament that wasn't a major championship, teeing off in Phoenix on Thursday.
And there's one guy that we're both on. So let's start with him, and then we got our other 3 picks. I guess the lock shop unanimous play here is Tom Kim at 33-1. Huss, first rip around here at this event for Tom Kim, but it seems like something that's made for this guy.
100%. 100%. I'm looking at it. You know how well that he's played over the past year. You know the game that he brings in. And I think we've seen from things like the President's Cup and in his wins before, he is a guy that plays with a ton of emotion. I mean, I really believe that the atmosphere of the Waste Management Open I think Tom Kim cannot wait to be a part of this. And I think that he can't wait to get the people fired up with some great golf. He already knows he can play with and against the best in the world. And when he's hot, he's right there amongst the best in the world. So hanging a 33-1, and you do like to have a little bit of course history. But in this case, Waste Management Open, there was zero chance Tom Kim wasn't going to get a little taste on the card because, as you just mentioned, I think this event is made for Tom Kim, and he is made for it.
Yeah, I had to be on it. When you sent it over, I was like, I don't care. We don't have to go separate. We got 3 other picks each. Yeah. We got to be on Tom Kim here. This could be like he's already had coming out parties along the way. Hey, well, you look at a lot of the things that he's done. I mean, he's been going through first track, like going through all these courses for the first time a bunch of times and having success, right? So I don't think the lack of experience here is something that's going to have me shy away from him. So that's one place we're both at. Where else you going, Huss?
Yeah, and by the way, first off, shout out to Coolbet. I mean, even before we started working together on this, and I was betting at Coolbet because I love to bet golf, and they consistently have better odds than everywhere else. I've been comparing some of these numbers at other books to Coolbet throughout this week, and in almost every case, you're getting a better number if you're laying your bet at Coolbet as opposed to some of the bigger ones out east. So shout out to them for that right now. All right, so we've got Tom Kim. He had to be on the card, and it's a little bit of a bigger card this week because of the nature of the event. Just to fill people in if they haven't looked at it, John Rahm and Rory McIlroy opened as co-favorites at 9-1. Been a lot of steam on Rombo for obvious reasons. He's at plus 750. I just couldn't make there's too many good players at better numbers to go on a single digit favorite for this event. Listen, if Rahm goes and wins it, hey, congratulations to him. But I just didn't think that the value was there in either he or Rory. And even Scotty Scheffler, who of course won this event last year for his first tour win and ended up winning everything right up till the Masters. Schauffele and Morikawa are the only other guys under 20. But I really focused in that area between kind of 25 to 40 as the sweet spot for the bets with, I think, the best value. The lowest guy on my card is Justin Thomas. Justin Thomas at 25 to 1 for this event, for any event, frankly, was a number I simply couldn't resist. And it's interesting because guys like my guy Finau and Morikawa, Patrick Cantlay, all with lower odds than Justin Thomas. This is a course where shots gained on the approach is incredibly important. And you kind of really do kind of try to focus in on guys that have great iron games that can put it close. Justin Thomas is amongst the best in the world on that. And JT's another guy that I think the emotion and the atmosphere will bring the best out of. Finished 8th, I think, last year at this event before. He should absolutely be in, and I think it's a steal to get him at 25 to 1, considering where some of the other guys are on the card. Tom Kim, we mentioned 33 to 1. And as you mentioned, it was very, very hard to make the decision between a few of these players. But I do think it's sort of major-esque. I don't think you can go much too far down on this list to find the winner. But there's a couple great numbers. First of all, Hideki Matsuyama. Hideki's been playing some good golf this year. He's a former winner of the tournament, was right there last year.
He's won it twice, right?
Yeah, a 35 to 1 number on Hideki, again, seemed almost too good to be true. So JT at 25, 35 for Hideki, I couldn't resist. And then another guy that I think is probably somewhat undervalued is Matthew Fitzpatrick. He's played well in this event before, and I think that winning that major championship last year at the U.S. Open, I think has put him and his confidence level into a whole nother stratosphere. Now, he wasn't particularly good at Pebble Beach last week. That's such a weird event. You're playing with the amateurs. It's 7-hour rounds and all that. I didn't put too much into that. But when you have Matty Fitz coming back to Phoenix with a major under his belt, at 40 to 1. We've already seen him beat the best in the world, U.S. Open. Why not again? Love the value. So, listen, I can make an argument for a ton of guys to win this tournament. I kind of attacked numbers that I thought were great value at Coolbet of guys that absolutely can win at really good numbers. So I'm on Justin Thomas at 25 to 1, Hideki Matsuyama 35 to 1, Matthew Fitzpatrick 40 to 1, and then we've got Tom Kim. And of course, for people going, hey, where's Tony Finau? I didn't put Tony Finau in this list. I thought for the purposes of the lock shop, these are my favorite picks based on the numbers. But there's no way I'm not having a little sprinkle on Tony as well, just for the FOMO. Can you imagine if he won this event and I wasn't on him? So Tony's pretty much the auto bet. He's 20 to 1 right now. So a little sprinkle. But those are my favorite 4 picks. And in particular, JT, Hideki, and Fitzpatrick. I think there's just great value, despite the fact that we've got an absolutely loaded field.
You not being on Tony and him winning ruins the golf season moving forward for you. Yeah. Right? That's something where we're at the final major of the year and you're just like, I have to be on Tony now because I missed on him back at the Waste Management. So you have to be on him. Absolutely have to be on him. I like that list. Like Matt Fitzpatrick plus 4,000. Like it's the perfect summary. It's a perfect way to summarize this event and the field that we've got here, that Matt Fitzpatrick is sitting at 40-1 right now. I'm going to start with Xander, 16-1, not up to that Justin Thomas 25 number, and I do see Thomas as a popular pick in a lot of places. Xander's been so close here though, and he's been excellent. I mean, he's been here 5 times, top 5 finishes or top 20 finishes all 5 times. The last 2 times it's been second and then third last year. So he's been so close. Obviously, he enjoys the atmosphere here. And it's just a matter of time. I mean, if it's not this year, he's going to win one at some point here. And, so far this year in January, withdrew from the Century, but then bounced back with a T3 at the American Express and T13 at the Farmers Insurance Open. You go back to his last 2 events in 2022, Huss, T9, 4th spot. I mean, Xander's just been automatic for a long time, and how close he's been here. I'm going to get on Xander here at 16-1. I think I like Xander more at 16-1 than back in Rory in a spot like this, just because Xander's been so damn close in the past, right? So, and recently,
he's been
close.
Great. And I mean, just looking at, like, let's just go back to last year when Scheffler beat Xander in a playoff, or sorry, he was Cantley in a playoff. He beat Xander by 1 stroke. You're looking at a number of guys that have been here before that know what this environment is like. I mean, for my picks, I'm just looking. Last year, Thomas was 8th. Hideki and Matt Fitzpatrick were Hideki and JT were tied for 8th. Fitzpatrick was 1 shot back at 10. And of course, Xander was 1 shot off at 15 under. So he's been there. He's always contended. It's almost like he's due to win this sooner or later, even in a stacked field like we have this year.
I'm also going to go with Sanjay M, one of your guys, Huss. You're on Sanjay a little bit more than I'm on Sanjay here, but he's 30-1. Once again, a pretty ridiculous number. So far in 2023, he's been pretty good. He missed the cut at the Sony Open. Outside of that, T13, T18, and then Farmers Insurance Open, he was T4. He's been here 3 times at this event. I think last year he finished 17th. He had a top 10 in his first attempt here as well. Made the cut all 3 times. Played this course very well, won't get rattled by the atmosphere, and has been pretty steady so far this year. So I love Sanjay at 30-1. And it's Sahith Theegala, who was tied for the lead last year on 17, and then he put one in the drink, I think. I went back and watched that earlier today, and he's at 55-1 right now. And considering how well he played here last year, I mean, I think it's worth a sprinkle at 55-1. Last year, his only time here so far, he shot 66-64 in the first 2 rounds, and then heading to the weekend, he went 69-70, finished at 15 under, ended up winning almost $450,000. And then so far this season for him, pretty good. I mean, if you look at his last 5 events, have to go back to November. T2, T1, 33rd, tie 54th, and then once again at the Farmers Insurance Open, T4. So coming in on good form, was really good here last year. Maybe the way that he kind of fell apart late last year rattles him a little bit, but if it doesn't, at 55-1, there's some really good value here.
Dude, I think Sahith Theegala at that point, it was going to go one way or the other, because that was his first, I mean, real time in the spotlight at an event unlike any other. He did come up a little short, and I think we were going to find out what he was made of after that event. If anything, it made him more confident and more hungry. And we've talked about some of the, I mean, he was in a ton of tournaments down on Sunday throughout the stretch. So listen, is he likely to win? No, but at 55-1, I think he's proven he can play with all these guys. He's got some good course history. Not a bad sprinkle when it comes to a little bit more of a long shot. One other long shot you might want to consider. I had Feinberg on the program yesterday. He made a pretty compelling argument that a little Canadian content, Corey Connors.
Connors. I almost put him on at 80-1.
Our shots gained approach are so important here. Again, will he be in the mix to win it? Who knows? But at 80-1, he certainly has the game that could have him in the mix on Sunday. And just before we finish off on the Phoenix Open, head on over to Coolbet and click on the exclusives, because it does feel like a major. We got a ton of exclusives in here as well. Of course, Taylor Pendrith had a nice run last week. He's in the event. I don't mind Patty's special, the Greggy's golf special. Max Homa, Tom Kim, and Taylor Pendrith all to make the cut. That is at plus 145. Scheffler, Schauffele, and Connors to be all in the top 20. That's 10-1. And another neat one, the top 20s, Vic Hovland, Colin Morikawa, Sungjae Im, all top 20 at 10-1 and plus 220 on a hole-in-one on the 16th hole. And I'm in on that just because I want to see it happen. The chaos when someone holds a shot on 16. Got a 20-minute cleanup crew for the 500 beers that get thrown on the the green.
I know Patty, I think, at texted us said you guys want to put together a lock shop exclusive here. Looking at our picks right now, is there something that you think we could throw together here? A top 10, top 20, top 30 type of thing, or what do you think?
Well, you know what? Let's just go back to our. I would say, why don't we go with Tom Kim?
Yeah.
Justin Thomas.
Okay.
Can we bang out 4 guys into top 20? I mean, it's very.
I'd be comfortable. I'd be comfortable throwing Hideki in there. If you want to throw Hideki in there.
Hideki, Kim, and Xander or JT? Xander?
Well, you wanted to do 4, didn't you?
Well, we could if we. I mean, 4 guys top
4
20.
is a lot. That's a lot. 4 top 20 is a lot.
See, if they've got guys like the Hovland, Morikawa, and Im top 20, comes out at 10-1.
Oh,
and
so
we all those guys, then. Of those guys are right in that area.
Well, should we just go Kim, JT, and Xander?
Kim, JT, and Xander. I like it.
Yeah, let's do that. I'll send it over to the boys. Tom, Kim, JT, Xander, top 20.
All top 20. So check it out. We'll get that added in, and
we'll add that.
You can hit that up
at some point
a little later on today.
I like that. Can't wait to see the number on that.
Yeah, exactly. I'd imagine it might be a little south. Maybe like 8-1, maybe. Yeah. I mean, if Hovland, Morikawa, and Im are 10-1, I mean, listen, Tom Kim and JT are in that zone with Xander being there at 16-1. I think that might take it down a little bit. So, but I think we might be able to get to 8 or 9-1 on that. So let's get Uncle Patty to throw that one up, and we'll see if we can cash a winner. And as I said, I am going to be backing the hole-in-one at plus 220, maybe a little sprinkle. See these hockey games tonight?
What do you got tonight? What are you hopping on?
All right. Well, I had a 2-gamer last night. We don't have a lot to choose from this evening.
Just the 2, yeah.
But I'm going plus money on both games. I'm taking the Minnesota Wild money line in Dallas. The Wild started off the post All-Star break performance with a regulation loss in Arizona. Meanwhile, Dallas escaped with another shootout win and got their 2 points. I think Minnesota bounces back big time. These two teams play real tight games. Huge game for Minnesota to bounce back from a pretty ugly loss of 2 points at a place where most teams assume they're going to get them. And then it's the Canucks at the Rangers. And I know the Canucks held in tight with the Devils and took them to overtime. I don't think that's happening tonight. Rangers puck line plus 109. So Rangers at minus 1.5. Wild money line plus 354 on the parlay.
That's a big one.
To make it 2 in a row with 2 gamers in the NHL.
There you go. So just the 2 games tonight. There's a couple plays for us. Thursday, Friday, 2 big Super Bowl episodes coming up. We'll have Pat and we'll have Jake. They'll hop in with us here. Tomorrow we'll focus on player props, Huss, and then our official picks and maybe some game props on Friday. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. How many props are you thinking?
I mean, should we put a limit like 6? Do we each bring 6 player props? Do you want to do more?
I think maybe 8.
8. We'll each bring 8 player props tomorrow. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a big episode
Our favorite 8 prop bets for the Super Bowl for tomorrow's action. And then
it sounds like an epic bet builder. Just an all-timer.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You don't have to do it.
Friday,
we'll have to do it.
Pick the game, pick the total, maybe a couple other prop bets in and around the actual game as opposed to individual players. So we'll do all that. And counting it down, getting closer to kickoff on Sunday in Glendale. I cannot wait.
We'll have to ask the guys, but I wonder if they could take all 16 of our player props and put it on as an exclusive. The Hail Mary, the Super Bowl Hail Mary.
That would bankrupt them for sure. I have a feeling the risk reward might not be worth it from a book perspective. We may have to scale it down from a 16 wager bet builder for the people of the Lock Shop.
Well, that's the mindset we're in heading into tomorrow's episode of the Lock Shop. So be ready for that. Hutz, we'll talk to you then.
Take it easy, dude.